So we've got fans at Fenway Park not buying this product. We've got the Daily Mail reporting that the CEO has disavowed this entire venture. And to go on top of this, we've also got people claiming that this right here is a victory, but yet at the same time, it more than likely does require some additional analysis. So make sure you guys stick around for the full video. John Claymore. Let me go ahead and start the video out by saying I hope you guys have a very good weekend. This particular weekend for me is going to be a little bit busy, and I'll be detailing that for you guys in this video, but more towards the end. There's also going to be a clip that I recorded last night kind of explaining the differences between right-wing cancel culture versus the left-wing cancel culture, meaning basically we're talking about boycotts and the difference between boycotts and actual, the whole cancel culture thing that the left loves to use. So make sure you guys stick around for that. So let's talk about this. So right now the Daily Mail is reporting that the Bud Light CEO, this guy here, has decided to say that this was not officially a part of any type of campaign, even though it's been going on for literally like a month and they haven't actually apologized. You've got some people out there celebrating, saying we got them to apologize, when in reality they did not apologize. And we've also got some people telling us that this is not a victory. But I think all sides deserve some form of analysis. But first and foremost, let's go ahead and talk about this little bit here first. Okay, this is a TikTok that was released yesterday. And it's at Fenway Park, and you guys can see that Bud Light's kind of still sort of on the shelf here. However, you probably would think this is just one video, but then again, though, you've got a lot of reports out there saying this is kind of consistent, and there's probably a lot more reports to come about Major League Baseball stadiums. Now, really quick, let me go ahead and kind of help you guys out with baseball. Seeing how baseball was the first sport that I learned to love, the first sport that I actually played, baseball's audience typically tends to be a much, much more conservative audience, okay? Typically much, much more white, no raw viewership. It's just kind of the way it is. It's also very, very Hispanic, and I'm pretty sure you guys are kind of already thinking to yourself, oh, you straight white males, you guys love baseball. Yeah, we do love baseball. Us straight white males do love baseball. Just figure I'd throw that out there. So it doesn't surprise me that Bud Light's not getting any actual play at Fenway Park, even though a lot of those fans are probably not even actually from Boston itself. A lot of these fans are probably coming over from upstate New York, which is very, very weird because we all know that New Yorkers and Bostonians always like to get along, especially on the topic of baseball. But there are a few that slip through the cracks. The same exact way there are a few Bear fans who slip through the cracks in Wisconsin. Somehow or another that actually happens. It's a very, very small minority. But of course, you got people coming from the much, much more conservative areas of Massachusetts, much, much more conservative areas in like northern Connecticut, northern Rhode Island, Foxborough, maybe even Charlestown, Mass, which is still very, very liberal. But you've probably got a lot of fans coming to the ballpark from those areas there. By the way, Fenway Park is not that big in actual attendance, so it's very possible that that stadium could fill with a lot of out-of-towners rather than a lot of actual literal Bostonians who live in the city of Boston, which, by the way, is very liberal. I'm just saying that there could also be the case, but still at the same time, big baseball teams, franchises, you know, the Braves, my team, the Phillies, for example, the Yankees, if they wanted to do this, they could do this, the Mets, who else, the Pirates, all these baseball teams, these very, very large cities, might want to take this as an opportunity to maybe, promote local breweries, local products, put them in the stands, go ahead and pay the little bit extra money, or even though those local breweries may not charge as much, why not actually do this? Get some more, let's just say, take this as an opportunity to expand your horizons. Don't worry, we'll discuss it a little bit more after this right here. So, yesterday, it was Tim Pool. He came out and gave a little bit of I guess you could say, a bit of a rant on how it was that this is actually not a victory. I somewhat agree with this, but I also see some additional possibilities coming as a result of this. Let me go ahead and play you guys about a minute of it.
The CEO of Anheuser-Busch finally addressing the Dylan Mulvaney controversy, disavowing. But I don't see this as good news. I don't see it as victory. I see it as a company doubling down on their disdain for you. The news from the Daily Mail. Anheuser-Busch CEO finally disavows Dylan Mulvaney Bud Light partnership and says, quote, "It was not a campaign," after firm sent letter to retailers blaming an outside ad agency for approving it without management awareness, as sales crashed 26%. Now, of course, the story that's going around is people saying, aha, we're winning. I don't see that. I'll put it this way. If their sales are down 26% and they still will not apologize to you, it's not winning. I mean, in a sense, it is. They're feeling pain. The company is suffering economically. But winning is when they come out and say, please buy our beer again. No, I think Bud Light should cease as a brand. And at this point, perhaps the only thing Anheuser-Busch can do is discontinue Bud Light and call it like, I don't know, super duper beer. Got to give it a different name. Whatever.
And out of desperation, Anheuser-Busch, of course, is now giving out free beer. Who will drink? That right there remains to be seen. What I personally think would be the best thing that Anheuser-Busch could do is just straight up apologize and say, look, man, we screwed up. We put this guy out here. We really were not in touch with our audience. We don't seem to understand that our audience is mostly working class Joes. Doesn't matter if they're conservative or moderate or liberal, but mostly just working class people drink our product. That there being Budweiser, Bud Light, of course, the Michelob Ultra, and it's really funny too because oftentimes we love to say stuff like White Claw was just Bud Light for girls, but then now girls can now use that against us and say, well, I guess that I guess Bud Light is now White Claw for men. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. Very, very effeminate. It's just kind of the way that it is. Now, guys, here's the deal when it comes to this whole topic of Bud Light. There are many saying that Bud Light needs to shut down. Now, me personally, I have not had a Bud Light or really an Anheuser-Busch product since about 2018. I kind of explained to you guys that I wasn't drinking Anheuser-Busch products to begin with, but I understood why people were boycotting, and I was actually very much in favor of that boycott, especially talking in the last week about what that company used to stand for, that being Anheuser-Busch. Patriotic values, things of that nature. That's what they used to stand for, and now you're seeing that, well, the lean into wokeness has probably been going on for a while. All you got to do is go back to that Amy Schumer, Seth Rogen ad, and the ads that they were bringing up talking about equal pay and crap. Yeah, they were kind of already going woke to begin with. The truth be told is the downfall of that company, in my opinion, started really towards the end of the 90s when they started to give up on the whole Bullfrogs ads, which, by the way, were absolutely funny and pretty well classic. And, of course, Bud Light's ads started to get less and less funny. To me, the whole Dilly Dilly ad campaign, the one with the night, the Bud Night, all that crap there, yeah, those ads to me were completely cringe. So Bud Light for a while, and not to mention, I think they also changed their formula of the drink itself. You see, I think that company, or at least that section, is been more and more cringe by the day. And the mere fact that they've kind of sort of helped bring down Anheuser-Busch as a whole, that right there might be a sign that, okay, maybe you might want to consider dropping this company, but then again, it's only been a month. Now, somebody in the comment section did make a point to me yesterday saying that if you give this very roughly a month, this entire thing's probably going to blow over and people are going to start drinking it again. I'm not entirely sure that is the case. Normally, a situation like this kind of blows over after a couple of weeks, and normally companies or CEOs of companies may come out and issue a statement, a bit of an apology. Bud Light never did this. Instead, what they did was they put a half-hearted statement out there, and then they turned right back around and tried to shift blame to all the employees who may have suggested this, claiming it was a rogue employee, which, of course, the CEO of marketing, she decided to give her 2 cents on this and say, well, we're trying to appeal to a brand new audience, and I kind of call BS on that one because if you actually look at the audience that they are trying to appeal to, they're mostly kids who can't drink anyways. Which brings me to my next point. The Instagram model Bre Teresi. Now, guys, I'm going to leave this video here in the description box and where she talks about how it was that she quit her modeling agency because, they were using dudes to help model lingerie. And, of course, we talked about Mulvaney being used by Maybelline. And somebody asserted to me in the comment section, I went and double-checked that they've actually been doing this for a long time. They just decided to use Mulvaney. I guess people just now decided to pick up on this at this moment in time. So, obviously, not so great researching on my part. I didn't actually look at it thoroughly enough for us. I would have known at the time. But still, I advise you guys to watch the video. Teresi, she basically asserted that they were trying to market this to children. That may be true, given especially TikTok's actual average age of people on the site. Don't worry, I'll also leave a video in the description box on the Restrict Act as well. And that might be a very good point. However, the thing is, where little kids can't drink. However, the mere fact that they're seeing Mulvaney may put messages in their head that the whole trends thing is actually pretty cool. And it kind of asserts the whole notion of the whole thing that's going on with transitioning kids at a very young age may put ideas in their heads. And, of course, suburban parents have proven themselves recently, not all, just some, have proven themselves to be kind of weak and willing to kind of go along with this issue. I've talked about the whole drag queen stuff, drag queen story hour thing, where these parents are actually carrying their kids to that. I've also explained how it is that you can't really blame the drag queen themselves, but you need to blame the parents who carry their kids this, because quite frankly they should know better. But that right there, once again, is another topic altogether. The fact of the matter is that Anheuser-Busch, if they really and truly want to fix this problem, what they would do is apologize, and what would eventually happen is that people, after a while, because look, they're trying to give out free beer, okay? That's how bad it is. The beer is now officially free. How many people are going to jump on that? Well, you never know. But still, at the exact same time, we probably need another couple of weeks to kind of properly gauge that. But still, at the same time, if Anheuser-Busch would simply have just apologized, admitted that he screwed up, they probably would not be in this situation. It probably would not be as bad. And the forgiveness process, while not starting right away, would at least be, how do I say, considered. And of course, people would just make fun of them about their really, really gay phase. Guys, with that right there being said, let me go ahead and go to these updates, and then the clip that I made last night will be placed at the very end of the video, so make sure you guys stick around. Let's go ahead and move to that. Guys, I'm going to try to be as clear and as concise about this as I can. Let me go ahead and kind of explain to you right-wing cancellation versus the left-wing cancellation, and I'll even go ahead and tell you guys how I kind of came to wanting to explain this to you guys. Somebody left a comment in the comment section. I'm not going to pull it up or anything, and basically what they were saying is that we look like a bunch of hypocrites because we're posting social media posts canceling a company. And of course, when the left does it, it's okay. So I responded, of course, because I typically tend to respond, try to be as respectful as I can. I used to have a habit of being a jerk in the comments, and I'm trying to get away from that. And I actually misread his actual initial comment. So comments go back and forth. No big deal. It happens. I mean, nobody's upset or anything. And then finally, I was like, wait a minute. I kind of misread his first comment. So I had to go back in there and kind of explain. I was like, it might be a good idea if I actually explain this. And by the way, this little explanation is going to be in all three videos for tomorrow. I decided to add a third one, so make sure you guys stick around for all three. So here's the difference. When conservatives cancel a company out, basically what we're doing is we're looking for an apology. That's really what we're looking for. Take Bud Light, for example. If Bud Light had said, apologize instead of posting a phony ad 2 days after the entire ordeal broke out with that individual, which, by the way, is going to come up again here in a second because, once again, we still got to self-censor. Yeah, that's what I'm saying because, of course, we're the ones that get canceled a lot more. So, which, by the way, I think is hilarious coming from the left when they actually bring this up. But don't worry, we'll get to that here in a second. Basically, what we're looking for is an apology. If Anheuser-Busch had apologized and disavowed this individual from the very start, we wouldn't be doing what the hell we're doing. So basically, the idea is to get an apology. If they apologize, then maybe someday we might be able to forgive them. Now, of course, some people are never going to forgive them. I stopped drinking Anheuser-Busch products back in 2018. I told you guys my story on that. I'm actually trying to quit drinking as a whole. So basically, like I said, what conservatives do is that when we actually force some type of cancellation, we're just looking for an apology, and we typically tend to move on. The left, on the other hand, they have to go all the way back to your past. Give the example of Jay Williams that I did in the Jay Williams video. He had to go all the way back to Jerry Jones at 14 years old when that photo came out. He's apologized for racism. He didn't mind the fact the guy's 80 years old and probably close to death. And he's employed many, many, many men of color and made them all millionaires and all that stuff there. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Not much thought process. This is kind of how the left mind woke virus works. They have to go all the way back to when you're a baby. That's kind of how these people are. Very, very, very effeminate in nature. Let me ask you guys a quick question. When two guys get into a fist fight, what normally happens? Seriously, what normally happens when they get into a fist fight? They take a few minutes, whatnot. They may have a beer or so. They may shake one of those hands, all that type of stuff there. That's what men do. When ladies do it, what do? They typically tend to hold a grudge. They typically tend to be catty around one. They typically tend to go around one of those back, talk bad about them. Very, very effeminate in nature. That's the point that I'm trying to get across to you guys. Is that's kind of who the left is. Very, very effeminate. And as you guys obviously saw with Jay Williams, he's obviously a very, very effeminate man. That's the real truth, which leads me to my last point. You see, us conservatives, we get canceled all the time. We're kind of used to the cancel culture. We're kind of used to people kind of burying us in the algorithm. However, the left, on the other hand, they're not exactly used to this. They never have been used to it. I wonder why. These people got mental illnesses. Obviously, they are not allowed to own a firearm. It's just the way that it is. They have to seek therapy all the time. They typically tend to get triggered. You have to put all kinds of measures in place to keep them safe. Then when the rules, of course, have changed and you're on a much, much more even playing field, you find out these people are actually quite beta, very weak, very effeminate, a lot like Jay Williams. Guys, John Claymore here. If you guys like this content, make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign up in the comment section. I'll see you guys later.